Hello and welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. They scored a goal, they got a point, but another loss for your Philadelphia Flyers. I'm your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as usual, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. Joe, how we doing?
The team sucks.
Oh no, we suck again.
Oh no, we suck again. What is that, 4 losses in a row?
4 losses in a row, 6 of their past 7. Only win was at home against the Devils there, where they got outplayed. I mean, they got outshot at the very least, but yeah. But I've been going downhill.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So, but you know who's not going downhill? The Birds.
Hey.
They're going to the big game. They're going down south to the Big Easy down there, and with Bet Online, you can bet on there. The biggest betting weekend of the year is finally here, which means more updated odds and props for Super Sunday. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. We have hundreds of prop bets, MVP odds, and exclusive in-game live betting. Bet Online is your ultimate game day companion. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, Bet Online offers you everything and more to enhance your game day experience. Visit the website today and make game the day action count a little bit more. Bet Online, the game starts here.
Nailed it.
I mean, I read it. I was reading it word for word. So whoever put that together,
fuck yourself, San Diego.
Yeah. All right. It's been almost a week now since the trade. Joel Farabee has a goal. Morgan Frost has a goal for the Flames.
Farabee had two.
Farabee had two. We'll take it back. Yeah, and we still have not seen Kuzmenko or Pelletier, even in a Flyers sweater. Not even at a practice. Not even. I haven't even seen any bad photoshops out there. I mean, there's been other trades to kind of overshadow it. Maybe why. But yeah. How? What are your thoughts? Let's just start there. What are your thoughts on the trade? We discussed it after the game Thursday night. We weren't sure. I've discussed it a bit more since then on Saturday with Thomas and Kelly watching highlights. The post game with Jacob on Sunday. So, Joe, how are you feeling right now about the trade?
I mean, it still kind of hurts. I was always a Farah believer. Like, I always thought he was gonna find a way back to the first 3 months of last season. But I understand why they did it. It's maybe the riskiest trade that Briere has made. I'm not losing sleep over Morgan Frost. He was due a raise. Clearly didn't really fit here. But I get why they did it. I saw people complaining like, well, the cap's going way up, so why didn't you just keep Farabee in 3 more years of his contract? I'm like, you guys, that's $5 million they can use elsewhere for the next 3 years. They've also got a bunch of RFAs that need contracts this summer.
Yeah.
And a couple of them I might want to go long-term with. You know, this is... I get it. It still is a bummer, but, you know, this is what a rebuild looks like. My favorite slogan.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm feeling better about it. Like, I imagine we'll feel better when we see the guys on the ice. Everything we've read and heard about Pelletier is that all of his teammates love him, and that they're going to miss him and whatnot. Kuzmenko is going to be a fun character. We'll see how he meshes with Tortorella and Michkov there. But yeah, I think Farabee's going to play great there on the top line with Kadri and Huberdeau. He seems to be but go to the net type of guy. That's kind of what he had to do, and maybe he'll get some better luck finishing with Calgary rather than he did in Philadelphia. But yeah, apparently, I mean, they've been shopping Farabee around for probably over a year. Like he's popped up on trade board lists since last year. And I mean, maybe I'm dumb to do so, but I trust Briere when he says, we wanted to get rid of his whole contract and no one else was really willing to do that. And
that's fair.
Like you said, that $5 million, get that off the cap, trade Risto. That's $11 million to go towards the center. Maybe a Wyatt Johnson, maybe a Marco Rossi, someone like that. Maybe a Elias Pettersson. Yeah, I mean, there's options out there. And this is the trade where, from the Flames perspective, if maybe the Flyers in a few years would do something like this, like Pelletier wasn't ever going to be a guy there. He was back and forth. He had to be traded. Kuzmenko was going to be a free agent. The Flyers wanted to look at him.
Well, you got to remember they were considered, quote, throw-ins. Like they weren't even part of the deal.
What was the initial 1-for-1? Was the initial 1-for-1 Frost for a second? Frost for a second is what it was.
I think so.
Okay, because I've been going in my head like, okay, let me look at every potential combination of like, okay, Farabee for these two, Frost for this. I don't see a world where the Flyers lost the trade. They might not have won it, but Jacob brought up a good point on post game. He was like, who's the best player in this trade? You don't know, and like normally whoever gets the best player wins the trade. And right now, sure, it might be Farabee. Frost could turn it around. Kuzmenko could have another 30-goal season. Pelletier could become a decent middle six guy. So it's kind of a toss up there. And then the Flyers get a second round pick that's going to be in the top 20, a seventh pick now in the top 50 or so there. So I mean, I love that.
Well, we'll see. I like the Flames are in a playoff hunt. It could be like 51st.
They're not winning more than a round. They're not winning a round. They're not winning.
No, have you seen the video compilation of Pelletier like kissing his teammates and stuff?
I have not. No.
Oh, he's a big like helmet kisser, and like when a guy scores a goal, he's like right in their face, and like him and Scott Lawton are gonna get along just great. Because Scott Lawton, that infamous photo of him kissing Michkov on the helmet after they ran into each other. Garnet Hathaway actually had some, words about it. Charlie O'Connor tweeted or skeeted them the other day, and it was like, we watched their first two games in Calgary. They're deeply missed, and we haven't even had the rush of excitement of welcoming the two new guys that we got because they're stuck in Canada. We haven't seen that side of it yet. So the Flyers locker room is just kind of in this weird limbo of like, well, we just lost two guys that we were all really tight with, and we don't even have the two new guys to get excited about. It's just a locker room minus Farabee and Frost. Like, that's a void, and there's no excitement there, especially after 3 shutouts and a miserable loss to the Utah Hockey Club. So
yeah,
it's a bummer.
Yeah, there's a void there. I mean, they caught up some guys. Rodrigo got his first goal last night. My boy there, Gaucher has been a guy. I guess. How do you like them apples?
How do you like them apples?
I love that there. Nick Delorier activated. Big fight there against Liam O'Brien. That was good there. But
good one.
Yeah, no Farabee, no Frost. Be interesting to see how the room responds. I mean, they haven't been playing well the past few games. One game was against the Avalanche. One game was against Utah on the road without 4 of your regular roster guys, Tippett, Paling, and the 2 new guys. So like you're down quite a bit.
And Risto.
And
Zamula.
And Zamula. Yes, and Zamula. So that's 4. So that's a third of your forwards and a third of your defensemen. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I mean, Sam Ersson played potentially the best game of his career. He had some amazing saves there.
Unbelievable.
39 saves on 42 shots, all in all. So he's been great. But yeah, this trade, I mean, it caught us all kind of by surprise. Like we not shocked that Frost got traded, not shocked that Farabee got traded, but just I don't know if it's the timing of it. Another in-game trade that Briere loves to pull off for some reason for both teams. Like the Flames were about to get ready to play. Flyers were in the second period. Frost just doesn't play again. So
there was such chaos. Like all of the insiders are like trying to piece together what's happening. They're like, players are currently in game action. And then Frost had left the bench, but that wasn't trade related. It was because he was feeling unwell. Like he was sick or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then Farabee played the entire game, even though he was a part of the deal. Like, someone was like, "Oh, Ristolainen's in this too," and then there's a third team involved. It was just utter chaos until like midnight when it finally all became clear. It was fun. Like, there's a reason we went on and did a post game to talk about it. It was exciting. It was cool to see. I mean, so there you go, haters. Danny Briere finally made a move, and I don't want to hear any more shit about it.
I mean, yeah. There's gonna be people that hate the trade just because they hate Briere, they hate the rebuild, they hate what they're doing. They're like, oh,
well, they lost the trade, and I'm like, yeah. How do you know? You don't know that. Like, maybe.
Yeah, and it's exciting. It gives us something to talk about. This is like one of the top moments of the season. I mean, you got the Cutter return game. You got maybe Michkov's big point streak, but like this is clearly a key turning point. I don't know if it's a key moment, but a key turning point. And you do wonder if maybe a third team was involved and there's going to be something coming down the pike, because
that's what I'm saying.
Briere said something on Sunday about, well, I mean, he's been saying the whole time, this is flexibility, getting the money off the books, giving us more draft picks, giving us more flexibility to, go after a center, hopefully. And then Friedman on Monday on his podcast saying, He thinks the Flyers are going to go big game hunting for a center, which is what they need. They need a center. We know they need a center. That was one of the big downsides of this trade that Steve especially did not enjoy, was you're getting rid of Frost. So your centers are, when healthy, Cates, Couturier, Paling, Lawton, and Abels. Like that's, and I'm okay with that. But, and you know what, the haters should love this, because like, oh, they can tank now. But now they can tank, and then Sam Ersson standing on his head, so they can't properly tank. But
it was that, I feel bad that they didn't win that one. Ersson really did all he could to get them that win, and he didn't get the W. But we're like a week out from the Four Nations, so it looks like some GMs are trying to get stuff done before that happens. Maybe we see something else, but the deadline's still a month away at this point. So who knows?
Over a month away now. It's the 5th right now. I think it's on the 7th of March. So, and the big piece to fall for the Flyers is Ristolainen, who you're not going to trade during Four Nations. You're just not. Like, he's playing. Other teams not going to want him to get hurt outside of regular game action. He's already hurt. Who knows if he even plays? I mean, I imagine he will, because Finland's down to Joe Schmo playing third pair there. But Risto, number one D-man for Team Finland, going to be here.
What better showcase? I am so sick of people seeing like, well, there goes the Risto trade, he's hurt, and I'm like, he's got 2 years left on his contract, guys. Like, it doesn't have to happen at this deadline. Well, if Danny doesn't trade Risto at this deadline, he sucks. I'm like, what's the rush? Like, why? Just patience, guys. Just a little bit of patience. No, I'm ready for the break. Although, to be fair, the GMs aren't going to be making trades during Four Nations, because they're all going to be at their cabins.
I mean, they could be. They could be. Some of the teams. The guy I think Briere needs to go get is Trevor Zegras. We'll get into him a bit later, but like, I feel like you can get Trevor Zegras for a pretty low price, but I don't know what the Flyers have that the Ducks would want, like a defenseman like Jamie Drysdale, or or like give them a first-round pick for Zegras. I wonder if they would take something like that, because he's back. He had a goal last night. He's had a few goals since he's returned. The one thing that does give me pause about Zegras is his face-off numbers are garbage. So
is he a center?
Exactly. Is he a center? Is he going to be a winger? Like that's kind of the Morgan Frost question too. So
Frost is a center. I have way more confidence in Morgan Frost sticking as a center than I do Trevor Zegras sticking as a center.
I think Frost would be much more successful if he was a winger.
Successful, maybe, yeah.
But he would have a higher ceiling as a winger.
Okay, so he'd be a second line wing as opposed to an offensive 3C.
Yeah,
cool.
Something like that.
Still a middle sixer.
Yeah, I am now more open to the idea of waiting for the offseason to trade Risto. But I kind of do feel like the Briere might try to just rip the Band-Aid off and trade Scott Laughton this trade deadline. I think it's now or never for Scott Laughton, because then the team gets this playoff run, and next season, if they hold him to the offseason, they're probably not going to get a first-round pick for him. They might not get a first-round pick for him right now anyway.
Yeah.
But if they hold him to next deadline, it's a pure rental. They won't get more than like a third-round pick for him, if that. And at that point, the Flyers could be on a playoff bubble and just keep him for the run. So I think it is now or never. And I don't know. We'll see how the room responds to losing Frost and Farabee. But I mean, the Leafs, I was talking about with I think Jacob Easton Cowan or Fraser Minton for Scott Laughton, like something like that could definitely work for both teams.
I think it's irrelevant because they're just going to extend him on July 1st. So,
do you think so? You actually think so?
Well, I didn't think they'd ever trade Frost and Farabee. Well, I figured they'd trade Frost. I didn't think they would trade Farabee, so maybe, but I would be very surprised. They're not in the same position as they were last season, where they really were in a playoff push. They're pretty much out of it.
Yeah, they're out of it.
I say that, but
they're out of it. No, they're out of it. I'm one of the most optimistic people here, but they're out of it. It's just out of it. It's done. Yeah.
I mean, that changes things then, doesn't it? Because it's like, well, we're not keeping him as an own rental for this playoff push.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is time. But
yeah, and I know the centers are depleted, but like you got Cates, Couturier, Palin comes back. You got Abel. Abel's gonna be a 4C. I mean, I guarantee Torts loves his game. Besides the fact that he's small, he has the size. He makes the right
is
play.
not. Abel's is like 6'4".
Oh no, he's slow, but he's big. Is what I meant. Yeah, he's big.
Oh
so,
yeah. You said small, and I was like, no, he's huge.
No, he's huge. So, I mean, he's not going to have those I mean, he probably likes Abel's more than he likes Morgan Frost. He's not having those turnovers in the D zone there. He's making the right play at the blue line, getting pucks in deep, getting it out. Like he could be the 4C. You can squint and see Paling as a 3C, and you have Cates and Couturier, and then Lawton's a winger at that point, and you have enough wingers you can rotate in. I mean, Tony Dick seems to be a fucking mainstay now for some reason. Tony Dick in overtime last night, which I kind of get because he's fast, but come on.
Yeah. I mean, Cates took the opening face-off, and I don't see people bemoaning that. I'm like, who else would you want to take the face-off? Boots, I guess.
Has to be Cates.
But like, Cates is the best center on this team right now.
Yeah. One more thing on Farabee is that we didn't really think the Flyers were trading him, but we have to remember he's not a Briere Jones guy. He was signed by Chuck Fletcher, drafted by Ron Hextall, and that's been what they've been doing. Like they've been clearing out the guys that they didn't sign or draft. Like besides Couturier's been here, Tippett, Konechny, obviously, Lawton, Cates, Sanheim. They tried to trade him. They tried to trade him right away. I'm looking at the Flyers' last game in 2023 before Briere took over. Like Provorov gone, Braun gone, Sanheim tried to trade, Frost gone, Kevin Hayes gone. Sealer's there. Sealer's still there.
They didn't draft him, but
they didn't draft him. No, but he was a Fletcher guy, then became a Torts guy. Now he's just a Flyers guy there. JVR gone, Wade Allison gone, Brendan Lemieux gone, Tanner Lazinski gone, like Felix Sandstrom gone. Like they're instituting their own thing. It's a new era of Orange, and that is why they wanted to trade Farabee.
I get it, and I'm here for it. It's fine, I'll be okay. It's gonna be okay. Speaking of Tanner Lazinski, the roster that they iced against Utah last night, do you think that was worse, or do you think the Lake Tahoe roster?
The Lake Tahoe is always going to be worse because they had Sam Moore, and they actually tried at wing for like a real thing. I think Mark Friedman was playing wing in that game. Justin Braun, maybe. Like it was ugly. It was
I have
ugly.
It here.
Okay,
are you ready?
Let's say, yeah.
Mark Friedman, Philippe Myers,
it's Phil Myers.
Travis Sanheim.
Travis Sanheim, yeah.
Robert the Body Bag Hay.
Oh, Robert Hay.
Ivan Provorov. My favorite name, Andy Andreoff.
Andy Andreoff, yes.
Michael Rothel, Kevin Hayes, Sean Couturier, Nolan Patrick, JVR, Brian Elliott, Shane Gostisbehere, Sam Moran, Eric Gustafson, Nico Bay-Kubel, Maxime Sushko, Carter Hart, Connor Bunneman, and Joel Farabee.
Connor Bunneman looked like he could be a fourth liner there for a bit, but the name that gets me there is one of the later ones. It just escaped me.
Sushko?
Oh, Eric Gustafson. Eric Gustafson. He had a good career before the Flyers. He came here, was absolute dog shit. He's good now afterwards. He's a power play specialist. I mean, he's not good, but he's not bad.
No, he had a good year with the Rangers, a good year with he's with the Red Wings now. Yeah, he's with the Red Wings. So here's the glaring flaw. You had Gustafson and Gostisbehere on the same roster. Yeah. You can only have one of those guys. Like, pick one. Don't have both of them, Mm-hmm. So that was the flaw there. Not even what was it? The entire team had COVID, like tested positive for COVID. So they couldn't play.
Like Giroux didn't play in that game. Yeah, like
ruined his Iron Man streak, I think, for that.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Iron Man, Joel Farabee gets ruined about 2 weeks before he gets traded.
Just trade him. Come on, that is brutal for Joel. That is brutal. Yeah. You want to move on to big game hunting now? Or you want to talk about the other trades around the league?
Well, I think they can be kind of one and the same. So Yeah, 2 big trades happened. Actually, 3 technically, although one was a product of the other. The JT Miller drama is finally over, which probably takes Elias Pettersson off the table. However, there is the argument that like the guys who backed Miller in the drama will see it as Pettersson, quote unquote, won because he ran this guy out of town. And like, you know, it could still keep the locker room adrift. But that's a long-term thing to keep an eye on. Anyway, they traded Miller to the Rangers, got a first-round pick, Philip Hedl, and Victor Mancini, I think is his name.
Yes.
Great name.
Is it
Great
Victor?
name. Vincent?
It might be Vincent. No, it's Victor. You got it right the first time.
Victor? Woo! Yeah. I know my stuff. And
Vittorio is his proper name.
Vittorio Mancini. Oh, yeah, love it. And then 5 hours later, they used that first-round pick and sent it to the Penguins for Marcus Pettersson and Drew O'Connor, which, okay, that seems dumb. And then a day later, the Sharks sent Michael Granlund and Cody Cecchi, a.k.a. Kakapipi, to the Dallas Stars for a first-round pick and a fourth. So some teams are making their moves now in advance of Four Nations, although I wouldn't necessarily call those big game hunting. Maybe JT Miller, but that's about it.
No, they're not big. I mean, yeah, JT Miller, he's with the Rangers now. He had a goal in his first game. He's fitting right in there. He'll fit right in there for a bit until his antics run wild. Yeah, you know, hopefully the Canucks do have Pettersson back on the market. I'm not sure if the Flyers would be in on him, but that's definitely a good option to have. And even if he is on the market and he gets traded elsewhere, it's a good price point to know, like, okay, this is what a 1C is going for. Let me see what I can get, you know, a Tage Thompson or Trevor Zegras or, well, don't roll your eyes at Tage Thompson. Roll your eyes at Dylan Cousins. Why does anyone want Dylan Cousins? He has the same contract as Thompson and has not done nearly as much there, or Marco Rossi, something like that. Yeah, I mean, Canucks finally ended that drama. They lost a few games, shut out the Avalanche last night without Quinn Hughes, which was pretty impressive there with Demko getting the shutout. They need him back. And
yeah, my fantasy roster is kind of struggling without Quinn Hughes on it.
Yeah, and we need the Canucks to be good because they can knock out the Flames out of the playoffs and get the Flyers a better draft pick. Now the Flyers fans have plenty of teams to root against: Avalanche, Oilers, Ducks, Flames, and is that it?
Blue Jackets?
Is Blue Jackets their second? Yes, Blue Jackets. Yeah, and they have Marchenko got hit with a puck on the bench or something and broke his jaw. Like, that is brutal for them.
Dante Fabro's out for a while now too on the blue line. Like, that team is just cursed. Like, Kent Johnson, I think, missed a lot of the season early on. I don't know, man. Sean Moynihan is still out long term.
Yeah.
Boone Jenner hasn't played a game this year.
No.
It's a miracle they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, they're going to fall off at some point. They're not making the playoffs. That's the top half pick in the second round there. And yeah, it's the thing about the Canucks getting Marcus Pettersson, the third Pettersson for the Canucks there, and Cody Ceci.
They have two Elias Petterssons.
Two Elias Petterssons, yes. Is the thing, and Thomas Williams wrote about it at BroadStreetHockey.com. Like and subscribe there, just 16 cents a day. Is that that's two potential destinations for Ristolainen that are likely off the table. Vancouver was one that I was definitely pointing to, but also the Stars. I mean, I thought, you know, Heiskanen there, pair up at Four Nations, and then even with Heiskanen out, they could still trade for Risto. I guess they still could because CC's like a third pair and Risto could be a second pair guy, but that's two bidders off the table there for Briere that he can be like, oh, I have offers from these teams, because I don't know who else is really out there. Detroit can maybe look to make a run here. Jeff Petrie is out, I think, for the season. Winnipeg.
6-game win streak, 7-game win streak for the Red Wings now.
Yeah, they beat Seattle last night. I think it's 7 or 8 now. Patrick Kane became the all-time leader in shootout goals. So whatever, good for him. But yeah, I mean, Winnipeg is always a good option to trade someone who doesn't have a no trade clause too, because no one wants to go there. So
and has term.
Yeah. A guy in Winnipeg I've talked about before, Cole Perfetti. I'm not sure how he's doing this year, but he's a guy I would be. And he's kind of like a Pelletier, where he's not exactly in favor, but he's also playing wing right now.
Yeah, I don't know why Winnipeg is handling Perfetti that way. It's been weird from the start. Like coaches don't trust him for some reason, but he's also pretty good. I don't know if he
Yeah.
turned in anything to more than like a middle six guy. I don't know.
Oh, Brad
I don't
Lambert's
know.
the guy there that Thomas pointed out, which
Oh, yeah.
would be very interesting.
They've also got a guy named Chaz Lucius. Got to get a guy named Chaz.
He's got two great names, Chaz and Lucius. Yeah.
Chaz Lucius. He's probably the weakest of the three, to be fair. But yeah. So I still don't understand why the Stars went after Cody Ceci. He was real bad last year next to Darnell Nurse for the Oilers. So I don't know, man. Maybe you should have kept Chris Tanev.
I think Granlund was their main target in that deal because I read somewhere they're looking to extend him, which is going to be tough. They got Wyatt Johnson to sign. I know they're getting Ben and Duchesne and other guys off the books, but yeah, CC kind of seemed like more of a throw in there as like a guy they could get to kind of fill the gap while Heiskanen and Lundqvist is out. Has playoff experience, but yeah, he can't play more than third pair minutes for. So now they have Matt Dumba, Cody Ceci, and Lyubushkin on the right side. It's not good.
That's real bad. Also, I know everyone's like, oh, they'll get out from under the Matt Duchene contract. I'm like, that is a sweetheart deal.
Yeah,
like,
no, it is.
He has been so productive 2 years in a row. He has taken 2 sweetheart deals in a row. I don't know if he takes a third, but he has been one of the most productive players on the Dallas Stars, especially for the stretch that Hintz and Robertson and Johnson just did not have it. I guess they're thinking Granlund can replace Duchene, which, okay, I can see that working.
Yeah.
I don't think they extend Dodonov. I don't think they extend Sam Steele either. But on the back end, they're really in it with the Lyubushkin contract and the Matt Dumba contracts.
Well, looking at it now, I was going to throw out maybe the Flyers take back a Matt Dumba.
Yeah.
Give him Risto and get a better return for him.
He would be next year's Eric Johnson, who is this year's Mark Stahl.
I mean, he's better than Eric Johnson. I'll give him.
Is he though?
I think so.
These days? Oh man, he's been not good for a couple years now. He has 2 points this season in 34 games. Do you know how many Eric Johnson has in 20 games?
He has at least 2.
He has
that
3.
Goal. He has 3.
He has a goal and 2 assists in 20 games played.
Yeah.
Let
me look up Dumba's advanced numbers here real quick on natural.
They're a little better. They're a little better than Johnson's, I suppose, but yeah.
His expected goals for relative is minus 1.48, which is fine. Lyubushkin's minus 0.1 if the Flyers want to take him back as a better option for the Stars.
Lyubushkin's got 2 years left. Dumba only has the 1.
Yeah. Yeah, so that would just be getting $2 million off the books. Instead of retaining Risto, you get back Lyubushkin, which, I mean, maybe you can then trade, or that fills a hole on, or no, it just causes more of a logjam.
Yeah, I'd take Dumba over Lyubushkin, but it does reinstitute that logjam issue.
Yeah, or you know what? Maybe they're okay being like, all right, we'll give you Ceci, and like we had him in case we couldn't get Risto. We'll give you Ceci for the rest of the year. He's a pending free agent.
Well, that doesn't really matter for them right now because Tyler Seguin's going to be on LTIR until the playoffs start.
Yeah,
but Seguin has $9.85 million against the cap for the next 2 seasons. So this summer, when they're trying to extend or like refill roster holes, they've got a problem. Also, Jason Robertson only has 1 year left out on his deal, so like they have flexibility in the short term just because Sagan's going to be on LTIR.
Yeah,
but in the long, and Nils Lundqvist maybe, but that's a smaller contract. But in the long term, they are pretty strapped. So you'd want to take back Matt Dumba or maybe Lyubushkin, I guess, but yeah, they have.
Lyubushkin would be a guy you just flip in the summer, like next deadline or something, probably. Hopefully,
Well, he has not for that contract. Are you kidding me?
Or you just give him away for nothing, or like attach a 4th round pick to him. Do the ghost special. But I do think this is the year the Stars kind of have to go for it. Jamie Benn, the last year of his deal, I imagine he'll sign back there for maybe a Matt Duchene type deal where he just stays in Dallas his whole career. But Jake Ottinger, he's due a double pay raise, $4 million to 8.2 next year. So Wyatt Johnston's going to get a huge pay raise as well. So I could see them, trying to go not all in this year, but push the chips a little bit further than they have in years past.
They've got other players coming up, like Thomas Harley has 1 year left and is an RFA. He's going to get a payday, a big one. Mason Marchmont comes off the books in a year, but I don't think they'd extend him. Like, who else? Maverick Burke needs a new contract. Logan Stankoven will need one next year. Yeah. They Nils Lundqvist at the end of this season. Yeah, they have not as much money to work with as people think they do. Next year. They do right now, but next season, it's going to hurt.
And I think that's where Briere can swoop in and, between the draft and the RFA window opening, be like, all right, we're going to offer sheet Wyatt Johnston. We can trade you something for him rather than you guys getting the compensatory picks if you guys want to do that. But I'm just going to tell you right now, we're going to offer sheet him. Maybe we'll offer sheet, Maverick Bork's an RFA after, Maverick Bork's an RFA, Wyatt Johnston. Maybe they go, all right, we'll go Wyatt Johnston. If you match it, we'll go Maverick Bork. Like we'll take our choice of that guy. Because we saw with St. Louis, they didn't go for the top guy from Edmonton, but they went for Holloway and Broberg and, maybe overpaid a little bit, but they got the young talent they wanted, didn't have to give up too much in terms of compensatory picks. And Wyatt Johnston would be a fantastic big game hunting thing for Briere to go get. I think he has to be the top prize.
Yeah. I mean, also St. Louis completed like a secondary trade after the offer sheets went unmatched and sent like an extra pick or two to the Oilers for just like roster moves. But
they had to get back into the group chat. They were kicked out.
Yeah, that's true. Oh God. Yeah, I think Johnston's probably like the highest profile this season. But you know who's a free agent next summer or offer sheetable next summer? Connor Bedard.
Connor Bedard. He's not leaving Chicago.
I mean,
if
Chicago things keep going like this,
Chicago would match anything. They'd match anything.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know, man. There's a couple other like really intriguing free agents next summer, if they want to wait and not give up a pick next year.
I don't think they're gonna wait though, because they cleared Farabee off. They're talking about it. I mean, I know they don't care about competing next year versus in 2 years versus in 3 years. They want to do it right over the course of however long it takes, but like the next few years. So they have to get a center in this offseason. Maybe it's just like a stopgap, like just because they've just played him, Alex Kerfoot or Matt Duchene or a Sam Bennett's been brought up a few different times. Like not great, but someone that you can stomach paying.
Sam Bennett won't sign here. Get out of here with that shit.
Someone you can stomach maybe overpaying a bit more for 4 years to get through this rebuild to the next step, or you just go out and trade for somebody. I think I would not be surprised if they have a new center by the deadline.
What about next summer, Adam Fantilli or Leo Carlsson?
I would love. I mean, Anaheim. Zegras is just the obvious name, but I would love Carlsson. I would love McTavish. I don't think they'd give up on him.
No. They wouldn't be trading him. I'm saying you offer sheet him next summer.
The Ducks just, I mean, you can't offer sheet from a bad team. I just don't think you can, because they'll be like, all right, we'll match. Ducks current cap space $45 million, projected cap space $17
That's
million.
Crazy.
Like they'll match whatever. Unless their owners just penny pinching, be like, oh, we can't match that, like how some owners do. But I don't know if Anaheim would do that.
You could offer sheet Cutter Gauthier next summer. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's Wyatt Johnston. Marco Rossi, I think, is a very viable name as well. But Wyatt Johnston's 6'2". Marco Rossi's 5'10", 5'11", I want to say. And the Flyers have enough undersized wingers. Hockey Reference has Rossi listed as 5'9". So
yeah,
the Flyers need some size down the middle, which is why I'm also kind of interested in Tage Thompson. I mean, Buffalo needs to kind of reload on their rebuild. He's a little bit older than I think Buffalo would like, maybe a bit older than the Flyers would like, but he was drafted a year after Konechny. So like he can be another one of those veteran guys, get some big size down the middle. Maybe he doesn't stick at center. He eventually becomes a big winger for you, but he has 26 goals this season, 47 games, 29 last year, 82 game average in his career of 31. Like he's another 30 goal scorer you can just put right in there. Now, what will it take to get him is the big question. But I think Briere, he obviously was a Sabre, so maybe he still has some connections there.
I don't know if they would, because part of the moving on from Frost and Farabee is they needed to clear roster spots for the young guns that are coming up in the system. I think they're looking at getting younger, and I don't think they want to bring in another old guy, old, quote unquote. He's not old; he's like 27. But I don't think they want to bring in a guy that age, unless it's cheap. But outside of that, like I think they're just going to wait and see what they can, how the next wave of prospects can fare before they go out and get someone that age. Like if we were 5 years down through this.
He's 27. He's only signed through 2030, and 7.1 million is going to look like a steal with the cap going up. Even if say that 47 goal season where he had was an aberration. Like let's say he's a 30 goal, 55, 60 point guy. That's perfectly fine to have. Put him in the middle with Michkov. Put him in the middle with Konechny. Like whatever happens there. But it's just a matter of will Buffalo trade him, because they also have some other older guys that are kind of with him, but it does seem like they need to do a trade where they give up one piece and get back 2 or 3. And the Flyers are kind of in the opposite. Maybe not right now, but maybe the summer, maybe next year. And they need a center. They know they need a center, which because it's hurting the development of these wingers. Like Tippett has been slowing down. Forster and Brink have been great, but they've been playing with Cates, the only good center. Konechny obviously having a great season, but I don't know. I think they need a center sooner than later.
I mean, yes, but I also just go back to what Danny said in the presser. It has to make sense for us, and I do not see how Tage Thompson makes sense. I just can't find how it makes sense, especially considering what the asking price might be.
Well, that's the whole thing. I don't know what the asking price would be, but yeah, I mean, someone put it out there. Luchenko just takes Frost spot next year. Makes sense. 2C, 3C, speedy. Torch likes him obviously, so he'll be there.
Alex Bump, maybe he turns pro at the end of this season.
Alex Bump could turn pro. The Flyers have
Cole Knuble.
Barkey's going to be coming up. Knuble, a bunch of these guys, but I think
do you think Barkey can stick at center?
I don't know enough about junior hockey. We got to ask Thomas or Jacob for that.
Probably
not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah.
He's Marco Rossi. That's what he's going to be. He's just our Marco Rossi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think I want Dylan Cousins. I know we had this conversation a few months ago, but he's 26. He's a right-handed Morgan Frost at this point. He had one good season, and that's it.
I don't want
7th overall pick. Development kind of got screwed by COVID there, but yeah, I don't want to take a chance on Dylan Cousins unless they're taking back some sort of long-term contract as well.
Yep. This team already can't score, and Cousins ain't scoring. You know who else hasn't been scoring?
Who hasn't been scoring, Joe?
Matvei Michkov. Although it's very funny to me that the Flyers had 2 goals overturned in the past 2 games. Michkov scored one of them and had an assist on the other. So maybe the league is just out to make sure he doesn't get enough points to challenge Macklin Celebrini. There's the tinfoil hat theory for you. Look, for anyone who's been watching the games, Michkov does not look good right now. Like, he does not look like he's playing well. And it's not something I'm worried about. it just looks like brain fog. Like he just looks gassed all the time. The passes aren't as crisp. His decision making is a step behind. His shots look like they don't have the same zest on them that they did at the beginning of the season. Like he just looks fatigued, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be worried about it. It's a long rookie season. It's grueling. Maybe he comes back from the break firing on all cylinders. But if he's still in a slump, like I'm not writing this off as an unsuccessful rookie season.
No, yeah, 0 points in his past 7 games. Coincidentally, during the Flyers won 6 losses in 7 game streak. There, you mentioned the power play goal against the Islanders he had, where Morgan Frost's last meaningful play in Philadelphia took away a Matt Michkov goal in a shutout streak.
Oh,
Had a good assist on Tuesday night to Konechny. Love seeing those two together. I don't think it'll stick. I think we might get a Kuzmenko, Couturier, Michkov line, but we'll see what happens there.
I like that.
And yeah, I think, he doesn't have a set group of line mates right now. And yeah, the fatigue is definitely setting in. A lot of games in a short amount of time for this whole team. 2 more games before the break. Like, I want to see go all out for those 2 games, and you have 2 weeks off. Like that's what we need to see, because I think he's gonna come out like a bat out of hell after that break, but you don't want to go into that break on a 9-game point drought.
No. And they've got I don't think they're going to beat the Caps. They have been outstanding.
They're probably going to get shut out again.
They might. Logan Thompson, baby. Although they might get Lindgren for that game. Anyway, Penguins game, Crosby might have an injury, so he might be out for that one.
Is Malkin still out too, or is he back?
I think Malkin is back in, right? No, I don't know. I don't follow the Penguins that much.
Not anymore. You used to, though.
What?
Back in your college days.
What?
Yeah, Malkin's. Did you go to something with Pittsburgh?
I went to school in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, Malkin's on IR, and Crosby's day to day. And I have to imagine if it's nagging him, maybe he'll sit out Saturday ahead of the big Four Nations tournament. Four Nations
captain.
Yeah, he has to be 100% for that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they have a chance against Pittsburgh, but I'm still not hopeful that they go into the.
Yeah, I'm always doubtful against Pittsburgh. They lost 7-3 back on Festivus in Pittsburgh. This is their second meeting, and then right out of the break, they play them a home and home on the 25th and 27th there. So
also they got a point last night. It was an overtime loss, so the point drought.
Yeah, they got a point last night. No, I'm sorry. I was saying the Michkov point drought.
Oh! Sorry, I thought you meant the team point drought.
No. Yeah, and I also forgot to put on the sheet here the Michkov Tortorella heated argument or whatever people were blowing out of proportion as, where Tortorella was giving it to him a little bit, Michkov gave it back, and then was stapled to the bench despite not having Morgan Frost down by 2, I think it was 2-0, and going to the third period.
I don't care. What it was not a heated argument. Tort said something, Michkov turned around to say something else, and then he found himself on the bench for the rest of the game. Guess what? Anytime Torts has done that, it's because he has told that player to do this specific thing a billion times, and then he doesn't do it. Wade Allison is one that comes to mind. Like, Wade Allison would just do all these like east-west plays, and Torts is like, stop fucking doing that. You got to go north-south. Bobby Brink last season had those moments. Emil Andre got sent back down to the AHL because he didn't protect himself in the corner, which is something that they have been drilling into him. Like, generally speaking, anytime Torts has put a guy on the bench for something like that, him and the coaching staff have told that player a billion times, like, stop fucking doing that or we're going to bench you. And then they do it. And then they get benched. And it's like, oh no, consequences of my actions? How could this have happened?
Kids these days. It wasn't heated. No, if anything, Michkov was being respectful because he turned around to make sure Tortorella could hear him, and rather than come on. That's always going to be anything with Tortorella. Michkov especially is going to be overblown. The Athletic anonymous poll today, there were a player just sounded off on Philadelphia, and also one. there were plenty of players said they hated Tortorella, but also players that said they would want to play for him. So that the perception of Tortorella around the league by players, by insiders, by analysts is just completely not what it is anymore.
Yeah, it's different from the reality of it.
Yeah.
Also, people still complaining about Michkov getting benched in third periods, not for like penal reasons, but for like just not playing well. Get over it. He isn't playing well. Like, do you really want him out there? Oh yeah, he should play through it. I'm like, he can't. How do you play through being exhausted? That just makes it worse. That compounds it. It doesn't make sense to just drive a guy into the ground in his rookie season and say, oh, he's going to play through the exhaustion. That just doesn't track for me.
Yeah, if you're down a goal, maybe. If you're down 2, maybe. But anything more than that, like, it's they're focused on the long run with Michkov, as we all are. Like, he's not winning the Calder at this point. He's behind Celebrini. He's behind Hudson. He's behind Wolf for some people. So, like, focus on the long term. He still has a great season. If I told you before the year, 34 points, 14 goals all season long, we'd be like, all right, good rookie year there. He still has 29 games to go. Like, 20, however many games to go here. So
yeah,
he can get to 20 goals. He can get to maybe 50 points. That would be amazing.
I think the over under at the beginning of the year was like what, 46 points or something.
Yeah, it was in the high 40s. So
everyone thought they were getting way over it, but now it's like, ooh, might be a dicey finish.
Yeah, he's on pace for right around there. It would help a little bit if the power play could get going, Joe.
Oh God, I know. Tell me about it. Alexander Appleyard, who sometimes writes for All PHLY, but covers mostly like European and Russian talent, he tweeted a couple days ago, Rocky Thompson's career percentage in terms of power plays run by him. He was so he has 4 years of power play coaching experience. In 2020 to 21, he was San Jose's power play coach, 14.1%, 29th in the NHL. Philadelphia, 22-23. 15.6%, last in the NHL. Last year's power play, 12.2%, last in the NHL. This year, 15.7%, 28th in the NHL. That is a total of 14.2% over a 4-year career as a power play coach. That fucking sucks. But here's the flip side. All I read is the Flyers don't have talented enough players to score, which, true. But also, like, what comes first here? Like, if the players aren't talented enough, then Rocky Thompson can't do a good job. So he does a bad job, and it highlights the lack of talent. Like, it's just this never-ending circle of misery for the Flyers.
Yeah, you know what other team doesn't really have much offensive talent besides one player? Chicago Blackhawks, and they're at 23.2%, 11th best power play in the league. Utah Hockey Club, we saw them last night. I mean, they got Clayton Keller, they got Dylan Gunther, they got Logan Cooley, who didn't play last night, but 15th, 21.8. Who else sucks here?
Speaking of Cooley, I would offer sheet him next summer.
Bad teams are just going to match it though. Like, I would offer sheet a bunch of guys, but you have to. The thing with offer sheets is they're not used enough because people get butt hurt, and you have to be strategic, knowing that, like, okay, if this doesn't work, I'm okay not dealing with this team for the next however many years as they hold a grudge. So, but yeah, you think about the Bruins. They have Pasternak, Marchand. They're below the Flyers, 14.9. Like, Islanders 12%, Ducks 12.2. Like,
where's the Sharks?
Sharks are 18.4, just above the Flyers there, 3%. Like, the Red Wings, you don't think of as a great offensive team, and so Larkin, good. Raymond, 27.7, third in the league behind Winnipeg and Vegas. Like, it's the structure, it's the talent, but I think it's just primarily the structure and what are they doing. Like, very rarely are they penetrating the middle at all. Hopefully Kuzmenko can help with that, maybe Pelletier, but they're just like
hate to not penetrate the middle.
You got to penetrate the middle. I mean, it's just hanging around the outside, missing the target. You got to get in there. You got to get in the middle. It's your best chance to score there. But it's just like they're playing keep away on the outside. It's just a bunch of foreplay there. Get to it. Okay.
You gotta rearrange the guts of the ice.
you gotta get some movement there. Even if you lay there, in honor of being in Utah last night. You get there, you get a friend to jump on the bed for you, maybe that could help out a little bit. But yeah,
Oh my God.
I don't understand why Rocky Thompson still has a job. I
No.
just don't get it. Like Danny Heatley is in the organization, John LeClaire is in the organization. Get them behind the bench. Get them doing something.
Yeah. Literally anyone else at this point.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's good with the forwards. Like, he clearly can't coach the power play. Sorry, Rocky. You may be named for a city treasure, but
and
this ain't it. This ain't
the
it.
Flyers are owned by a multi-billion corporation. They have the money to go out and pay an extra coach to be the power play coach or something like that. Like, thank God we have Bradshaw. We have one good position coach, because if we didn't, imagine if like Lappy was the defenseman coach and Rocky was the offensive coach. It would be just complaining up and down the board there.
Don't do this to me, Gilbs. I don't think I can handle it.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what the power play does with Kuzmenko. I hope they put him in the Giroux spot and just have him crank some one-timers there. But yeah, you never know. You never know with Rocky Thompson. Could have something up his sleeve. But unfortunately, he's wearing a vest, so he doesn't really have too much there.
What is that? The Jeff Goldblum laugh from Jurassic Park? Anyway. Sam Ersson.
Yeah, one player that has been playing well since the holiday break. Sam Ersson is 8-4-1, 919 save percentage, 28 goals against in 13 games played since the holiday break. He was pulled in that Rangers Islanders game, one of those two games in the second period, but he's been great. Had one of his best games of his career on Tuesday night in Utah. So I mentioned it before. The Flyers, were too good to tank based on their 5-on-5 play before. Now Sam Ersson is going to keep the Flyers in it.
Well, that's just one game, but literally every
not one game. I just went over this last 13 games, Joe.
Yeah, literally every player in that locker room owes Sam Ersson a watered down beer from Salt Lake City.
A 4% beer, yes.
4% beer, or dirty water, or dirty soda, whatever the hell Kelly Hinkle was talking about the other day. Yeah, I mean, if he keeps this up, we'll see. But I did see that Linus Ullmark is back, so that means Ersson is officially the third string goalie for the Four Nations. So he probably is going to get most of that time off.
Yeah.
Is it good? We're so far out of the playoffs at this point. What if we just want a tank?
But no, because then I was thinking about this. It's either the Flyers have horrible goaltending. What are we doing? What are we going to do? Or, oh no, the goaltender is too good to tank. Like that. Those are our two options. Like those are the two options for the negative fans. Be like, oh, the goaltending is too good, or like, oh, why can't the Flyers ever develop a goalie? Like, no matter what, the haters just win.
They did develop goalies. Those goalies just never played for us.
Yes, it's a goaltender factory. We build them and we ship them out.
It's true. We 3 of them that come to mind immediately.
Yes.
God, and one of them got a Vezina. Two
Vezinas and a Stanley Cup. Yeah.
Man, tough life.
Tough life for Sam Ersson's been playing well. Kolosov went down to the AHL, was called back up, but Matty Campbell was there, I believe, in person for his 2 starts a few weekends ago, and she wrote up a good article on BrowserDocky.com that he did not play well. So
no, he did
not shocking given how he looked for the Flyers. So he's just not it. Fedotov has been fine as the backup, so we'll roll with that.
As long as he's not injured, because he did get bulldozed in one of those games.
He did, yeah. So Flyers are not even necessarily in the mushy middle anymore. They're just above the Sabres for the worst record in the conference. They are 7 points out of a playoff spot, and the Lightning have 3 games in hand. Like, what do we want to see the rest of the year? Like, on a big picture, but also on like a small picture. Like, what individual players do you want to see play well? What do you want to see the Flyers do the rest of the way?
Well, I want to see everyone who's injured come back and be able to finish the season. I think that's important. And not just like finish it, but look like they did before they got injured.
Yeah.
So that we have like some hopefulness going into next year that like this won't be a long-term issue for them. Just keep it together. Like, that doesn't even necessarily mean play to, like, push for the playoffs. Just don't let the wheels come off. Don't let everything go off the rails, you know? Because we've seen this team in the Drew era, when things start going bad, the entire thing just implodes and it just snowballs out of control. If they can keep that from happening, I'll be okay. Like, if they're still in every game down the stretch, even if they lose, I can live with that. Just don't let the outside noise and the struggles get to them. That's really all I can ask for.
Yeah, I don't really think I have too much of a doubt about it. Like this room, Torch talks about it. Is like these guys play for each other. That's going to continue throughout the way. So yeah, but yeah, getting Paling back, getting Tippett back to their 100%. Hopefully Tippett looks better than he did before he went down. But yeah, just getting him back out there, not being shy to go across the middle. Same thing with Paling, like going out there playing his hard game. Getting Risto back, I mean that's going to be big for the team, both for his trade value and also just kind of stabilizing the defense pairs, because you want to have Risto there, because without him, the pairs last night were what? Sanheim, York, Drysdale, Sealer, and then Andre Johnson. Andre looked better last night compared to his first game back up.
I noticed him.
Could potentially, that could potentially be something good there.
You know who else I continue to notice? Jamie fucking Drysdale. He just keeps making good defensive plays that he has not made. It's a poke check. It's his gaps. It's a back check. It's a forecheck. He just looks like he's putting it together, and watching it in real time is something amazing. And I see people still hating on him, and I'm like, have you watched this guy since he came back from injury, and then again since the Ducks game? It is night and day. So if you listen to this, I urge you, the next time you watch the Flyers, anytime Jamie Drysdale is on the ice, just watch him, because I have been, and man, he's cooking. He is chefing it up, man. There's something cooking there.
Yeah, I mean, we hopefully see some competitive hockey the rest of the way. The tough part is the Flyers have the 6th hardest schedule remaining according to Tankathon.
Yep.
And 3 of their easiest opponents are 3 games against the Penguins, which are never easy for the Flyers there. So,
most of them are at home, though. They have a lot of home games down the stretch.
Okay,
I think it's like half of them.
Maybe tickets will be cheap. I mean, it should be half and half. Yeah.
Ha ha ha! Yeah, I should have realized that when I said
it.
I think it's more than half.
Yeah, this Thursday starts a 4-game homestand, and they have a big 7-game homestand in March. So, yeah, plenty of opportunity to go out and see these guys lose. But just on like on an individual level, would love to see Konechny reach that 100-point mark. I don't think he'll get there. Maybe 90. What is his career high? His career high is
68 or something.
I don't even think it's in the 8. Yeah, is it in the 70s?
I don't think he's
broke
70
he
yet.
had 68 2 years ago. So yeah, break 70.
Boom, I called that.
Break 80, potentially break 90 there. Would love to see Sam Ersson get his save percentage up to 900 on the year. I think he'll have a chance to do that because the Flyers have been getting outshot in each of their past 7 games pretty much, especially saw that last night. So get his save percentage up, and just maybe see a few of these guys get the 20 goals. See like Tip 14, Forster's at 14, Michkov at 14. Like if we can get 2 of those guys to 20 goals, all 3 would be fantastic. But to get 2 of those guys to 20, I'll be happy enough. Lawton's at 10, Cates is at 10. Get Coots up to 10. He's at 8. Brink. I want to see some more offense out of Bobby Brink. That's my boy right there. 23 points in 52 games is just, it's not cutting it.
No, but he looks good.
Usually, he looks visually better.
Looks good doing it. Yeah, visually better.
Yeah.
Cool. You mentioned the homestand coming up. Shall we do our game predictions and then run a Tankathon lotto?
We shall. Yes, we got Thursday night at home against the Capitals at 7 p.m. That is a Margaritaville night and also like Faith and Family night. So what a combination there for the Flyers.
I'm sorry, did you say Margaritaville night?
Margaritaville night. Last year I got the hat. My hat right here. So I still got to work. The hat. And they're Well, they're not giving away a shirt this year, but there's a
Oh.
package with a shirt involved. So yeah,
For
there's the
our
hat.
audio only listeners, Gilbs just pulled out a sombrero looking hat with a Flyers patch on the
And it's got a
front,
nice,
and is
got
that like a tropical orange pattern
yeah,
on the bottom ring of
yeah,
flip-flops,
it's nice.
palm trees, and
Yeah.
Flyers logos?
So I'll have
Beautiful.
this as well as my Margaritaville Flyers shirt for the next podcast.
Incredible. Are you going to drink some margaritas? Do they have like a discount on them or something?
They don't have a discount. No.
Oh.
Pay out the nose for them. But yeah, you got to get a margarita one night.
Do they come in like the special shaker bottle?
No. It's just a cup. It's not fun. It's not fun.
That's
and it's probably not going to be it's not going to be a fun game for the Flyers either.
No, it's not very Jimmy Buffett of them to.
It's not. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Jimmy.
Is he dead?
He died was it last summer?
Did he really?
It was like
right.
It was like August 2023. I'm pretty sure. I remember we went
September 2023. Yeah, September 1st.
Because we went to Bing Bing. Went to Bing Bing that day. It was a Saturday, I'm pretty sure. And there was a waitress, also rest in peace, Bing Bing, was wearing a Jimmy Buffett shirt. So we were like, oh, shout out Jimmy.
Yeah. I hope he's not. Well, I hope he is wasting away in Margaritaville. Anyway, Washington Capitals. Flyers are going to get their asses handed to them. The Caps just hung, I think, 6 or 5 on the Florida Panthers. So, I think they do at least that. 5-2 Caps.
They have been allowing a lot of goals. 6-3 to the Panthers. Back-to-back 5-4 losses in overtime. So, yeah, I'll go 5-3 with an empty netter.
Here's the thing about the Caps is they have been playing a style of hockey that slows the game down because they know they don't have the speed to keep up with some of the higher end teams, and they have been elite at their execution of a smothering kind of forecheck intensive game. That's kind of what the Flyers do. If the Caps and the Flyers end up playing the same type of game, Caps will win it every time. If the Flyers can find a way to score off the rush, they might have a better chance, but haven't been doing that too much lately. So
yeah, it might actually be lower. It might be like a 3-1 type of game, just boring. Capitals grind it out, tight checking, not a ton of chances. Like
I dislike the Capitals.
A loss no matter what, though. And
they're like the Islanders are my most hated team. The Capitals are like third, maybe.
Who's second?
I don't know.
Rangers?
Yeah, maybe. I also just don't like the Edmonton Oilers because they get everything and then complain. And
then blow it.
Also, they have Stan Bowman as their GM. Like, that was stupid. Why'd you do that? Why'd you sign Evander Kane, Corey Perry? Like, he didn't sign Evander Kane, but he signed Corey Perry. I'm just like, the most hateable franchise. Anyway. Penguins.
Then we have Saturday night at home against the Penguins. Penguins do play Friday night at the train station up there in New York, so could be beneficial for the Flyers there. I'm going to say a 4-3 overtime win.
If Crosby is out and Malkin too, I mean, Crosby is the Flyer killer, and if he's not playing, they have a much better chance, don't they? So maybe Tristan Jarry's gone. I think it's going to be higher scoring than that. I think it's going to be like a 5-4 shootout win.
Looking back at a few Penguins back-to-backs recently, they lost in Washington 4-1 after winning in Buffalo. They lost at home to the Lightning 5-2 after getting shut out by the Senators 5-0. So they have not been good on back-to-backs as of late. So hopefully the Flyers can take advantage.
Yeah. I mean, guess who also hasn't been good on the second half of back-to-backs?
But the Flyers won't be on the second half of a back-to-back.
I know.
Flyers are 1-8 now, I think. It's
1-8-1. I think it's real bad.
It's bad. All right,
real bad.
Let's get this tankathon up here. Have you done anything today? You usually are like, I did one earlier. No,
I didn't today. I haven't today.
All right. Well, this is
we're at 6 now. Oh, by points.
No,
percentage?
this is the schedule strength. I have to get up. There we go. Simulator. We're still sixth. Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
still, well, by points percentage at least. But
point percentage. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, look at Buffalo. 4-game win streak. That's real nice. Good for them.
Good for them. Good for them. Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Oh, come
Montreal
on.
goes up 10 picks. Seattle goes up 2 picks. San Jose,
Flyers
Chicago,
go
Nashville
down
down
1.
2. Flyers go down 1 to 7. Which,
hey, that's where we got Michkov. So you know.
Yeah, I'm expecting like a 7 to 10 range this season because just given their second half schedule, I don't see them making a playoff push again.
I mean, if Buffalo keeps winning like that, maybe the Flyers end up with the 6th pick, which would be kind of nice, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, every pick is better than the last. Yeah, just keep it going.
Sure.
All right, Joe. Where can the good people find you?
You can find me at jfdmarini.bsky.social. You can also find me there on Twitter, but I have decided that after the trade deadline, I think I'm going to delete Twitter. Like once that's done, I have no real reason to be on the insiders. And also, I will not be around for the next 2 weeks, so Ryan Gilbert is going to have some very special guests on over the next couple weeks. So stay tuned to hear some takes from people that know more about hockey than I do. Gilbs, where can the people find you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to scramble for some guests. I have not lined that one up yet, but I'm sure we'll get some people that have been on before. Maybe some special guests as well. Follow me on Blue Sky at ryangilbert.bsky.social. Yeah, and then that's it. And then follow Broad Street Hockey on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, and get in the Broad Street Hockey Discord. Good time in there. Good discourse.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Shout out Bet Online once again. And until next time, thanks for listening.
Go Flyers.